So we've done countless videos over the last couple of years about the runaway technology and the disposable nature of today's cars. And obviously you guys know where I stand. I want something I can service myself, I want to keep forever. But there's a flip side to this too, a disposable car. And you guys, you car people who've been around for any amount of time, you already know this, you live this, but there's a lot of people who don't, like their brain just doesn't go there. So the reason I bring this up is because something that I just bought, and I'll tell you why I bought it. But it's the method that I use that's the important part. So today, the average price of a new car is over $50,000. It just went over the transaction price, so out the door, over $50,000, which is just absolutely crazy. Now at the same time, you've got delinquencies at an all-time high. You've got repos at an all-time high. And you've got car payments that are at an all-time high. The average car payment in this country right now is $750 a month. And these numbers are important for the rest of this. The average new car payment is $750 a month. Now, if you're making payments on a car, it means you've also got to carry comprehensive insurance on it. So tack on another $150, $200 a month. And then you've got miscellaneous, including depreciation. Round it all up, and not talking about fuel or anything like that, you're talking about $1,000 a month. The average person is spending $1,000 a month on one car. And how many families have 2, 3, 4 cars? I do not know how people do it. I make really good money, and I have no idea how they do it. That's besides the point. I want to talk about a different way of looking at cars. It's actually completely opposite of what I normally preach, but there are times for this. And car is just car guys. So you're building your hot rod, you're building your race car, whatever, and your winter car, you beat it with a heater, you know, just the bad weather's coming in, you don't want to mess with your car, you want to just leave it, you know, and work on it over the winter or the bad season, the wet season, whatever it happens to be. And you go, well, in the old days you used to go to the newspaper and just find anything that runs. If it's like $100, $150, which was like going back to the 70s and the 80s, that's what you would pay for the beat it with a heater. The just beat up car, it runs, it'll get you from point A to B. You're gonna pay $100, $150, maybe $200 for it. Well, nowadays, you're gonna spend $1,500, $2,000 for that same car. But now we knew back then when we were doing this that these cars are disposable. You're going to throw them away. It's just something so that you're not putting the wear and tear on your good car. You know, you're keeping it nice, safe, clean. This is your time to work on it. This is when you're going to rebuild the engine, have it down. You need the beater with a heater. So that has never left me. That's never left me. And through the course of my life, I've always looked for the beater with a heater. The car that is the disposable car, the one that you're not going to spend any real time or money on. You don't care if it gets wet. You don't care if it gets dented. You don't care anything about it. It's just A to B, and it allows you to treat your car like the princess that it is, right? All right, so now you guys know I'm into XJs and their survivable nature. They're awesome, and I've been using XJs for my daily transportation for the last 4 years now. I love them. But over the last year or so, I've gotten very involved in local dog activities, dog sports, dog activities. And I have 2 border collies that go in crates, and we take them everywhere. And the XJ is not big enough for 2 large crates. The XJ is only good for 1 big crate and 1 small crate. And then all of the other stuff that goes with you, chairs and bags of you know, equipment and all this other stuff, it all gets thrown into the XJ. It's piled, it's a mess. The XJ is not fit for purpose for dog sports, or at least if you're going to really pursue it. Okay, so looking around at what the other people who are into this lifestyle are driving, I see minivans, and I see the minivan of choice is the Dodge Grand Caravan or the Chrysler Town & Country, or Pacifica. They changed it from Town & Country to Pacifica. But because it has stow and go seating, that's the minivan of choice. So when you pull up to one of these events, there's tons of them. There's also other makes and models. So I says, all right, if you know, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. So I'm going to do dog sports. I'm going to do what the dog sports people do. So I says, I'm going to go find a town and country minivan or a grand caravan, but I really wanted the town and country. So the vehicle represents everything I hate about modern cars. It's completely computerized. It's overstuffed. It's overcomplicated. It's fragile in a lot of ways. It's very difficult to work on. I am not going to spend a lot of money on one of these things because I consider it a throwaway car. I only need a vehicle that's fit for purpose, that's just going to go to these dog events, and we could do it comfortably and in style. So I says, well, before even that, before I decided on the minivan, I says, no, I'm just going to get a cool van, an old van, and I'm looking at VW buses and stuff like that. It was like one for 20 grand. It was red. It was actually too nice. And he says, no, if I buy that, I'm going to end up falling in love with it, and it's going to become another project. It's going to become another burden, another thing to take me off my path. No, I'm not spending 20 grand on a Volkswagen bus. I will spend 5,000 bucks on a throwaway car though, because if I get a year out of it and really put nothing into it other than, like, you know, minor things, it needs a headlight or whatever it happens to be, right? If I get a year out of it, I'm way ahead of the game as if I bought new. So I budgeted $5,000. I'm going to find something. My total outlay for this endeavor is going to be $5,000. So I start looking at minivans, and I'm seeing them, a lot of them in that range, 2010 to like 2015, 2016, 2017, all clustered in that $5,000 and under range. Because they're not the most desirable things in the world anymore. They were soccer mom vehicles, and then the style changed, and the soccer moms don't want them anymore, but dog people do. So I says, I'm going to allot myself $5,000 for this endeavor, which means that I need to keep about $1,000 on the side. So if I buy this thing and I got to put whatever in it, I've got a cushion. So I'm looking at $4,000 and under. So one pops up here up in Nashville, and it's $3,800, and it's a 2014 Town and Country. So I'm like, okay, I'll go take a look at this thing. So I'll show you what I bought. Look how sexy that is. Yes. All right, and this is totally not sexy. This is a 2014 Chrysler Town and Country with stow and go seating. All of the seats fold down there, and you got a nice flat floor. And of course, it's got automatic doors and all of that stuff. Paint is beautiful, interior nice, everything works. Okay, 3,800 bucks. So I says, yeah, I'll go look at this. Thinking to myself, if it's perfect and it really doesn't need anything major, I still have $1,000 cushion in all of this. So I go and I look at it, and talking to the guy, and it's got a coolant leak, and it has a little bit of a headlight issue, and I'm like, I can't gamble on this. I says, these things, I says, if you go right down the street over here to Laverne Pole Park, which is a local scrapyard, you're going to find 30 of those things in exactly that condition, and they're all in there because there's a coolant leak, or there's a body control module issue, and there's no way for me to know, standing here in a parking lot, if this thing isn't going to eat my lunch. I says, the most I could do, I should talk about lowballing, right? I says, the most I could do with this, I give you $1,000 bucks for it. I'm expecting him to say, you know, right? So he says, I can't go that low. I says, why not? He says, because I bought it to flip it, and I'm into it for $2,000. And he says, you're probably right. This thing really isn't worth anything. If you give me my money back, you got it, it's yours. So I look around it real quick. The tires are brand new. I take it for a ride around the block. Transmission shift's good, motor pull's good, everything works the way it's supposed to work. Air conditioner works, heater works, everything works. I says, I want to give you more, but I can't gamble on more than, you know, the $2,000. So that was it. I gave him the $2,000 and drove it home last night. Now that leaves me a $3,000 cushion based on my budget. For $3,000, If I have to put a body control module in it, if I have to put a set of if I got to put head gaskets on it, if I got to put a transmission in it, whatever it happens to be, I'll still be under my $5,000. This is the key to success if you're talking about affordable transportation, and it's adopting this mentality. So think about this for a second now, right? I'm into this thing for $2,000. Let's just say I have to put another $2,000 into it over the next week, all right? Seems like a lot, $4,000 for a throwaway car. But if I went and bought a brand new car, and I had that $1,000 a month note, all right? So the payment and then the insurance, comprehensive insurance. That's $1,000 a month. If I drive that thing, if I put $4,000 into a total, and I drive that thing for 4 months, I got exactly the same deal as if I went and bought a brand new car, without the depreciation hit. Okay, it's worth exactly, you see what I'm saying? No depreciation. What I paid for it is what it's worth. If I go 5 months, my 5th month gives me a free vehicle. Think about that. Now, I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, it'll go for a year. I bet you this thing's gonna go for at least a year before it needs any type of craziness. So my $4,000 over the course of the year driving this thing, as opposed to the $12,000 it would cost me to drive basically the same vehicle. The new ones have all the same features and all of the same ridiculousness as this thing does. This thing looks like a new vehicle. The paint is good, the interior is good, everything functions, everything works. So I get the same basic experience as driving a brand new vehicle, and I save $8,000 over the course of the year. So let's just say now at the end of the year, the motor lays down or something crazy happens with the computer, with the CAN bus, whatever it happens to be, right? I can walk away from this thing. At the end of the year, I walk away from this thing, I get an $8,000 profit as opposed to buying it new, and I could still drive it over the scales at the scrapyard, cut the cats out, drive it over the scales at the scrapyard, and get more than $500 back for it. You can't lose. This is the key. What I'm giving you right now is the key to affordable transportation. Nobody thinks like this. Nobody thinks like this. They'll look at a vehicle like this and say, I put $4,000 in it, $5,000 in it, but what happens if the motor goes bad next year? What happens if the transmission goes bad next year? Who cares? Who cares? You made your money on this thing. You're driving a profit after your 4th month, given that $1,000 a month payment, and okay? It's all profit after the 4th month. If this thing lives for 5 years, let's say, and I've got to put $5,000 into it, think about the saving, and it's not going to last 5 years, and I don't want it to last 5 years. To me, it's a Dixie cup. You have to have a little bit of a gambler's spirit to get involved in something like this, because yes, there is a possibility that you're going to spend $2,000 on it, and then another $2,000 to bring it up to speed, whatever it happens to be, and then let's say right after you do that, it needs a transmission or something goes wrong with it, or you're not putting anything but basic liability. You're not going to bother putting comprehensive insurance on this, and somebody T-bones you and totals the thing, and you got to walk away from it. So you have to have a little bit of a gambler's spirit when you do this. But what are the odds of this thing? Like I said, I paid $2,000 for it. I'm prepared to throw another $2,000 at it if need be. $3,000 if I want to keep my budget. You know what I mean? The $5,000 budget that I allocated to it. What are the chances of this thing surviving the next 5 months and staying under my budget? At 5 months, I have broken even. At 6 months, I'm driving a profit. People don't think of it this way. They don't look at it this way. You have to be prepared to walk away from it. It's one of the keys to success with everything in life. And this is something you learn as you get older, right? You can never really be successful with something unless you're ready to walk away from it. When you detach yourself from outcome and you say, you know what, it's going to be what it is. And if I have to walk away from it, I will. That's when all the good stuff happens. That's when you start, everything turns in your favor. The profit happens. And by driving a car like this for, let's say, a year, I'll make profit. If my $2,000, potentially $4,000 investment in this car gets me through a year, and it's still the vehicle that I have right now, I'll sell it. And I'll get my $4,000 or $5,000 out of it, because that's about the fair market value for this thing on the street. I drove for a year for free. Okay. Now, I'm not advocating that you go out and just gamble on the first thing that comes along that runs, because you need an educated eye. So for me, I know what I'm up against. But if you're not really sure of yourself, as far as like mechanical knowledge, or mechanical intuition has a lot to do with it too, your ability to read, the seller, then you want to have somebody with some experience and some knowledge, coach you on this. But if you do what I'm saying here, and you just buy a vehicle, detached from its outcome, I don't care if it lasts. I just need it to serve this purpose, and this is the most I'm going to spend on it, and I'm ready to walk away from it after, like I said, a couple of months, and I've broken even. It's the same as if I bought a brand new car. How you go wrong? If more people thought like this and worked like this, the financial landscape of this country would be a completely different place. All right, so I don't want to keep going on this, but I keep seeing on my YouTube, the feed, video after video after video about how car payments are killing me, and the delinquencies are all, records, and it's bad out there. It's really bad out there. Maybe somebody could take a little bit of this advice and improve their lives with it. It has served me well for almost 50 years that I'm doing this. I'm probably one of the few people that you're going to come across. I'm probably the only person I know that has driven cars for almost 50 years and never paid to drive. There's always profit at the end of it. You know what I mean? It's just such a second nature to me. I never worry about it. I know that no matter what I buy, I'm going to turn a profit. It's going to put money in my pocket before the party is over with it. All right, I hope you got something out of that. Share it with somebody that's struggling with car payments, and you think it might help them. See you tomorrow.